Hey, this is Tony here with Saltstrong, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Jackson Coosa FD pedal drive kayak. Now, as I go through this review, just be aware that I'm going to talk about what I like about it and what I don't like about it, the good and the bad. These are unbiased reviews as we're not sponsored or affiliated with any products, so I'm going to tell you how it is. That way you can determine if you want to go out and actually purchase this kayak or any other equipment that we talk about. So first, as far as the specs go, this kayak is 12 feet 7 inches long. It weighs anywhere from 105 to 115 pounds. Now it's 105 pounds without the seat and the actual drive installed into it, and it's about 115 pounds with those two items in. So it's pretty heavy, but that's pretty much around the same weight that any of these higher end pedal drive kayaks go for. Now, this kayak also has a pretty high weight capacity. It's about 450 pounds, which is plenty, especially if you're a bigger guy, taller guy, and you want to carry enough equipment with you. So it will handle all of that. As far as the stability, it's very stable. You can very comfortably fish from a standing position. Also, you can go from a sitting to a standing position very easily because the seat is nice and high. Now, the biggest selling point of this kayak was the pedal drive system. That's the main reason why I bought it, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But first, I'm going to talk about some of the features of this kayak. We're going to go from front to back and tell you what I like about them and what I don't like about them. So let's go ahead and take a look. So first, let's dig into the actual drive system. This is the flex drive, and this is what sold me on this kayak because about 99% of the time I'm fishing in about 1 foot to 1.5 feet of water. And that's because I like to fish out on the flats and it's very shallow out there. So this drive, it can pedal in very shallow water. It has different height settings and it's very easy to adjust it just by simply pulling on this lever. Right now, with the lever all the way down, that drive is all the way up into the hole. And as you can see, it's barely even sticking out from the bottom. So you can beach it with no problem and you can go very shallow. Now, if you simply just pull the drive up 1 notch, that's in the middle, that drops the drive down to just below the hole. And you can easily pedal in about 1 foot to 1.5 feet of water with it down like that. So that's no problem. And then, of course, all the way up would be pushed all the way up to the upper drive. And that puts the drive all the way down so you can pedal nice and easily in deeper water. Now, one thing that is a little bit of a problem, but you kind of overcome it, is when you have that drive in the middle position, when you're pedaling really shallow, it creates a lot of noise when you're pedaling just because that prop is close to the surface of the water. But not too big of a problem. It still allows you to move, just if you're moving from spot to spot. Now, another nice thing is this upper part easily removes from the kayak. The lower unit stays attached, but you can easily just lift this up and it's not attached anymore. You can store it so that if you have your kayak in the back of your truck or anywhere like that overnight, you can take that out so nobody takes it. Then put it back in, simply pops in, make sure it's flush, and that it just attaches with these little wing nuts right here that are on the slide track. Just screw those down and you're good to go. Nice, quick, and easy. Another great advantage of this drive is you can instantly go forward or reverse just by pedaling forwards or backwards. So you don't have to flip a switch or anything to go in reverse. If you need to go in reverse, it's very simple. Just pedal backwards and you're good to go. Now, really quick, just to talk about the prop. What I really like about this is you can replace each blade individually. So if one blade chips or cracks, you can just simply replace that one blade. You don't have to replace the entire prop. And Jackson sells a kit online with every replacement part you can imagine for the prop itself, and anything from the blades to the screw and also the hub and everything all comes in a kit for, I believe it's about 35 bucks on the Jackson website. So that's nice to have just in case you need a backup if one of the blades crack. But these are pretty durable. They're pretty solid, and I haven't had any issues with them chipping so far. I've run into oysters and rocks and all kinds of stuff and haven't had any problems. Also, you will notice there is this little hatch right here. This gives you access to the prop. So if you get any weeds or debris caught around the prop, you can simply just raise the drive up, get the prop up there, reach down, get any debris out that you need to, and clear the prop. And then one thing you want to make sure of is when you're not messing with the prop that you close the lid, because your phone or your tools, pliers, anything can easily drop down into that hole and they will go bye-bye. So make sure you have that closed down. Also has a little bungee where you can secure it, and that way it doesn't pop open if you pop the drive up or anything. So little safety precaution there. And since we're already by the seat here, I'll just talk about the seat really quick. It easily adjusts. This is a high position, and then you can just remove the seat and drop it down to the lower position, and that would be more for pedaling, or not pedaling, but paddling rather. And then if you're pedaling, you want it up in the higher position. Also, that's much better for scouting if you're sitting down looking for fish, because you're in a higher elevated position, so works out really nicely. Now also, something that comes with the kayak is this waterproof bag that attaches to the back of the seat. It's a dry bag, so you can put your phone, wallet, keys, anything you want to keep dry but easily accessible in this bag right behind you. I like to keep my rain gear and a radio and my phone and everything in there so that I have easy access. In case a rainstorm comes through, I can turn around, just unhook it right there, and on the other side, unroll it, grab my rain gear, and I'm good to go. Now, the only bad thing about this seat that I didn't like too much is the aluminum that it's made out of. It bends really easily, so if you're standing up and you happen to lose your balance, fall down, crash onto the seat, it can most likely bend. I actually had a buddy of mine has the same kayak, and he went to go sit down and the seat bent. But with that being said, Jackson has awesome customer service. I had an issue with the drive when I first got it, and what happened was, I'll just show you really quick. The little coupling right there, right around the outside of it, it was leaking a pink fluid, and these are supposed to be completely sealed. Nothing gets in, nothing comes out. And I contacted Jackson, and they were able to send me a brand new drive, and I just had to send my old one back. So no questions asked. They just asked for the serial number of the kayak, sent that to them, replaced it, swapped it out, no problem. So if you have any issues with these kayaks, the customer service that they have is awesome. And now going back to the seat, if you notice underneath the seat, there is a tray underneath. And this is handy if you have any Plano tackle boxes. I believe it's the 3640 size. You can fit 2 of them in there, or you can fit one of the bigger ones in here. And there's a bungee where you can help keep it down. Also, I believe these are for water bottles. You can put a water bottle in there, put the mouth of the water bottle under there, and it'll hold it in place. Also, this slides a little bit front to back, not too much. Don't really know why it slides a little bit, because you can't really get access to it that well aside from reaching under the sides of the seat or in front of you. So it does slide a little bit, and in my opinion, this kind of just gets in the way, especially if you're trying to store anything behind the seat, because as you notice, it takes up a lot of space back there where you can put a cooler or another tackle box or anything back there, and it doesn't slide really far enough to get out of the way completely. And when you do slide it up, it ends up blocking the hatch there to get access to your prop. So that's a little bit of a issue for me anyways, but it can be easily removed. Just be careful and make sure you don't break anything if you do remove it. It's just these 2 screws right here, which I'll show you. 2 screws right there, unscrew, and it pops right out. But I don't know if that has anything to do with the warranty, so just do that on your own risk, and you can take that out, easily put anything down underneath the seat without having to fumble around with that. And now to go over some of the features of the kayak from front to back. Of course, you have your front hatch, and on top of the front hatch there's a little paddle holder where you can slide your paddle up underneath to keep it locked and secure. If you're doing something else really quick, you have to put your paddle down, and nice easy hatches to open up. And you can see there's plenty of room in there. Put a life jacket. I sometimes put my cooler in there in case I don't want it out in the open. Then also up front you have these GoPro mounts. The kayak comes with one. I ordered another one from the Jackson site just so I have one on both sides, but you can obviously mount them on both sides. They just screw right in there, and it's perfect if you use a GoPro and you need somewhere to mount it. Something else you will notice in the front of the kayak are these rod tip protectors. Now these, in my opinion, are kind of pointless. I don't use these. I've never used these, because what you would do is, see this bungee right here, there would also be a little wing nut right there that you would wrap the bungee around, and what would happen is your rod would be hanging off the side of the kayak. So if you had a wave or anything hit you on the side of the kayak, your reel would get soaked. So I don't like using the rod tip protectors. Don't really come into use in my opinion. I just keep my rods in the rod holders. Now as far as rod holders go, there are 2 flush mount rod holders in the rear of the kayak on each side of the rear tank well. They come in very handy. That way you don't have to buy any extra rod holders right off the bat. You can easily store your rods right there. Then also, if you notice, right in front of the rod holders, there's an area where you can put any type of base for a rod holder, such as a Scotty base or a Ram base or anything like that. They fit perfectly right there, and you can put more rod holders or possibly a light or a flag or anything like that mounted right there with no problem. Another nice feature on this kayak are all the slide tracks that are installed on them. You have one up front here, which is mainly used to hold the pedal drive in, but you can also put, as you see here, I have some tie downs in case I put a cooler up front or anything like that. Then you also have 3 on each side, 1, 2, and then 3 in the back. Then you have 1 going across the back behind the seat of the kayak, which is very nice. Also, this acts as a support for the back of the kayak so it doesn't cave in if you have anything heavy back there. So these tracks are along the sides, in the middle back here, and also you have tracks that the seat adjusts on. There's a track on that side, also one on this side. As you can see, I have a cup holder on that one. This cup holder actually comes with the kayak as well, and the seat easily adjusts just by loosening these nuts, and it can slide backwards or forward. Now as far as the rudder controls, there is one on both sides. As you can see, easy directions right there. Left, you push it forward. Right, you push it back. Now I do have one dislike about the rudder system, is it doesn't track all that well. When you think of a pedal drive kayak, you can use your feet and you can have your hands free if you need to do something, retie a lure. But what happens is, as soon as I take my hands off the rudder control, the kayak starts turning. So I'll end up going in circles while I'm trying to retie something. So constantly have to have one hand on the rudder control just to keep you going straight. One good thing I do like about the rudder is you can remove it from the bottom of the kayak very easily. And this is good, especially if you're trying to load up your kayak and you need to prop the back up on the ground and lift the front up of the kayak to get it up onto your truck or anything like that. And it easily removes. It's plastic, it's pretty durable, and it removes from right up here. There's a little pin there. You pop that pin out, and then the rudder just pops down and out of there. And since we are talking about the rear of the kayak here already, this is the rear hatch. You can see it's not as wide of an opening as the front hatch, but you can still get plenty of stuff in there. So that will wrap up this review of the Jackson Coosa FD pedal drive kayak. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, if you're interested in catching more fish in less time guaranteed, definitely check out our Salt Strong Insider Club at saltstrong.com/insider. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.